Hey guys, so today is my 32nd birthday and I am eternally grateful to the universe or God or life or reality or the ever-present consciousness that sifts through all things, that is sometimes known as the Tao, for giving me the gift of 32 years embodied within this vehicle of mine. And I'm eternally grateful for the time and the lessons I have had here, and I hope to continue to have for many years. I'm relaxing today, which is unusual for me. I don't normally do so, but I felt the need to. I haven't had a day off for around about I've had one day off in the last 3 months, so I thought it was time to take some respite. There's only so much meditation can do. But I want to speak about something that I think is very important, and it's something I've spoke about, and this is the reason I want to speak about it. Yesterday, among the things that Fritzy shared with myself for my birthday, I was given this. And this, as many of you will know, is a depiction of Samson fighting his lion. And on the back there's a note saying, for a few private words, by John, who knows how to kill his very own lion inside. And I want to discuss that, because herein lay the problems of humanity. And I think there's no greater gift a person can bring to the world than to teach others how to slay the lion within. The lion that dwells inside all of us is the lower nature of humankind. Some people just refer to it as the ego. But I don't like to do that, because the ego can serve as a friend when trained. So I call it the lower nature, as in the lower part of your ego. Now the problem we have is people begin to identify with the lower parts of their nature and with their ego. They identify with the concept of themselves instead of with who they truly are. And it's because they're always trying to think their way through, they begin to identify with the intellect and with thought. And this is where we need to awaken persons. But not only do we need to awaken persons, we need to discipline and tame the beast or the lion that dwells within all of us. You see, to kill a lion, this here is a Maasai spear. And on the very physical level of life, this here Maasai spear that is next to my bed may well have in its life been used to kill a lion. I have guards outside who guard us physically, who are Maasai warriors, as many of you know, some of which are lion killers. Sadly, it's not a practice which is legal or condoned anymore, but part of their tribe's belief was to become a man you must kill a lion. And it always made me laugh, because my belief is to be a man you must kill a lion, but not with this. This is not the tool that you would use to kill a lion. Now forgive me for having things laying around me that I can use for this video, but one of the best tools you can use to kill a lion is this. Now for those of you who are not familiar with what that is, it's a meditation cushion. And when you take on this task of slaying the lower nature, or the lion, or the beast within, or the dog as it is referred to in Islam, which must be left at the cave door whilst the seven enter. The cave being the depths of meditation. In the Surah 18, I believe it is. You must go within, and you must always realise that the beast dwells within you. My lower nature exists. It doesn't not exist. I could quite happily some days say I've had enough of this and just sit back and overeat and overindulge, and I still get the feeling sometimes like I might want to go out and just let go and just party and get drunk and feel some form of freedom that way. And then I realise it's my ego. It's my memories identifying with past feelings of joy that I once had. Excuse me. So, it dwells in all of us. But this is a representation not to be taken literal. We are not to use physical force to overcome the lower nature. Because if you use the physical driving power to try and eliminate the physical mind, you are done for. You can't do it. You can't do it by willing it or forcing it or trying to do it. And that's the difficult thing people have with it. It all sounds so aloof. It all sounds so fantastical. It can't possibly be the case, but it's about coming to a place where you realise that no human thought is an area where you can live. No human thought is a place where you can have this wonderful vehicle that we dwell within. Now, I've always said I'm not a meditation teacher. I'm not someone who should teach meditation. But it's very difficult for people to know why they should bother to learn meditation when they don't quite grasp what is supposed to be happening. Now, as I say, you can't fight. You can't fight the beast with your physical strength. It has to be done in a state of peace and silence. And this is where you will become a man or a woman or a fully realized human being, to avoid the sexism and the sexes for all they do exist. You must become a fully realized human, a fully actuated human. Now, excuse me, what you want to get to is, let me give you an example. Okay, I hope this makes sense. If I do this, then you can see the feathers are moving. And I don't want to blow on it because I don't want you to get confused with what I'm saying. But if I do that, you can see the feathers are moving. But if you go outside today and look at a tree, you can use a tree as the same example. And you see the leaves of a tree flickering in the wind. And then you need to establish what is moving. Are the leaves moving? Or is the wind moving the leaves? And it's the same thing you have where you say, are you climbing the tree or is the tree lifting you up? Are you walking independently of everything? Or are you only able to walk because the ground allows you to do so? Now this can get really confusing for people, but it's really rather straightforward. Is it the wind moving the feathers or the feathers moving the wind? It's neither. It's your mind that's moving. And when you look at a leaf blowing on a tree, is it the wind moving the leaf or the leaf moving in the wind? Or is it the leaf that's independently moving due to the influence of the wind? It's neither. It simply is, and would be your mind. that is moving between the two places. Your mind is moving between the wind is moving that, or that is moving with the wind. But without the mind, it just is. And this is the state of being we need to bring ourselves to daily. And when you bring yourself to that state of being every single day, then you can tackle your lion. And sometimes it'll overpower you. Mine overpowers me quite regularly. But at least in the silence and the depths of meditation, you can kill and slay your lion. And I say that is the greatest gift a human being can share with this planet. You can do many great deeds. Whichever you deem as great, you can invent life-changing medications. You can create technologies that provide clean, safe drinking water. You can create technologies that allow us to speak on a telephone and communicate with one another. And you can preach the word of God to people who are completely lost. You can heal people. Whichever word of God you believe to be true, that is. Whichever will work on the recipient. You can do all of these things. You can care for the sick. You can help the poor. You can share that which has been blessed to you in your life. But I believe still that the greatest blessing is to teach people how to do this. Now, I say that because if I can teach the world, if I could teach the world how to do this, and I could show them how to overcome their lion, lower nature, beast within, then this brings about the eradication of a great many things. It brings about the eradication of needing to care for hungry, homeless people. For the thing that creates hungry, homeless persons are often inequality, injustice, addiction, poverty comes from the lower nature. It comes from the lion. Inequality comes from the lion because people hoard their resources because they feel a need to have some sort of power. They don't have the faith and the trust in the higher mind, the higher functions of the human vehicle. So they trust more in the lower, in the lion. They don't have ultimate faith that God will provide. As Jesus said, the birds in the field do not sow crops, but God provides. Now, other things that we all are sick of seeing: heinous crimes, lies, theft, murder, sexual assault, war. They all dwell from the lion. And the more people you can show or point to the fact that the lion even exists inside them, because many people, they don't even know the lion is there. They don't know it's there to fight. As it says in the Gospel of Thomas, blessed is the man who consumes the lion, for he will surely be a man. Cursed is the man that the lion consumes, for he will surely become a lion. Many are so consumed by the lion. The lion is it's clever, it's intelligent, it's wreaking havoc across the planet. It's ensnaring our children with media, with the wrong diet, with acidic junk foods. It's ensnaring our children with concepts and ideologies. Mainstream media and cartoons mock people who are loving and caring and believe in God. You just need to look to cartoons, huge cartoons like The Simpsons. Look what it's doing to your children's mind. Those who believe in God, they're deemed as uncool. The lion has its way of existing, and it wants to exist. But if you can come into a state of silence every day, if you can find that space where you come over the top of your five senses and you're no longer a bumbling, babbling mess seeking stimulants, needing to watch TV, needing to have to watch a movie, I have to eat this, I have to eat that, I have to do this. If you can just come there, even for 10 minutes, half an hour, you'll become a completely different human being. Because the lion doesn't stand a chance then. It can't do anything. Because the lion, when you actually look for it, within yourself, that's when you come to a bit of a problem, because you never actually find it. Now this is going to be confusing for those who don't meditate, but it's the same as that leaf blowing in the wind. When you accept that it's the mind that's moving, nothing's going on there. It's just what is. And when you accept that the mind is impulsively driving you around to do things, the story of you can release from it. You don't need to identify to it anymore. You can let go and be born again. And all of these repetitive thoughts that we've learned to give attention to that are destroying the planet, all of these raging egos, these raging lions that dwell inside people in positions of power, who don't even know often that they need to quell it, that they need to wrestle, they need to fight that fight if they're going to become something worthy of being called a man, something worthy of being called a warrior, something worthy of being called a woman. They don't even see that they need to do it. Because the lions consumed them, and thus they are cursed and they become the lion. But if you can get all children on this planet to learn how to overcome the lower nature, which is simply done in the stillness and in the biggest battle any human can undertake, and the biggest and strongest act they can do is to tackle that foe. Maasai can go out with these spears and they can kill lions, but very few of them could sit under a tree on their own and face their demons. Very true, very few. Very few would be inclined to do so. They would feel the need to get up, to go and talk to someone, to do something other than face them. And the same goes in the West. You have many men who are hungry for power, and they think they have power because they have money. But they don't. They have a power to make a change, but if it just sits dormant, idle in their bank account, and they're too fearful to do anything, they've got less power than most, because it's got dominion over there. As it says in Tao, to gain everything, give everything away. I'm not saying you should give everything away. That's not the route for everybody to do this. We need business. We need that in our systems. I need people to create drugs for the children. I need mattresses for them to sleep on. I need wheelchairs for them to sit in. If that's your path, that's your path. But if you've got money that controls you, power that controls you, power that makes you need more power, then you're consumed. And the greatest gift humanity could ever receive is when every man, woman and child starts doing this. Because when every man, woman and child overcomes the lion, we see an end to murder, an end to war, an end to sexual assaults, an end to lies, to theft, to fraud, an end to inequality, an end to the needless suffering, the poverty, the hunger, the homelessness. All of it would go away if we all do this. And you won't do that by fighting with your hands. You need to do it by fighting in meditation. And then when you reach that point that you have overcome and it can no longer hold you down, then, ironically, you can begin the fight with your hand against the beast. But normally what you're fighting against is the wake of what it's done. The poverty and destruction it's left behind. The suffering it's left behind. But if you don't conquer your beast, you can't go out and do it. Because if I were a lesser man and the beast still had a grip on me, when God provides me with X amount of money to help these children and X amount of money to help these children, I might very well use it somewhere else. I might let temptation get the better of I might go running off to the casino or to the nightclubs or chase some girls. But I don't. Now, overcoming your beast can take many forms. Purification can take many forms. I often speak about things like alcohol. You don't have to have a life without pleasure. If you find pleasure in having a drink, you can have that pleasure. But if that drink is something you have to have on a morning or you have to have every day, then it's got a little bit of power over you, and that can only lead to having more power. Because there's some leaven in your bread, so it will rise. There are some red socks in your washing, the red socks being the negative thoughts, so they will turn your washing red or pink. Take the red socks out. Just chip away in meditation at those things. And you can leave a few in. A little bit of pink washing is acceptable. A little bit of impurity in your being is acceptable. We are human. But if something has a true grip on you and you're powerless to it, if you have to do something every day, then that's your beast and it's time to fight. It's time to overcome. Because the world needs it. It truly does. And just lastly, as I mentioned, alcohol. Each person is different, by the way. I myself, as you all know, I don't drink. I have no need to in my life. It doesn't help me. However, the late great Alan Watts was a drinker, and possibly one of the wisest men of the last century, as far as I know, as far as my life has led me. So there's a place for it in certain people, but it all depends on your discipline. It all depends how strong your lion is. But if your lion's got you more than 50-60% of the day, you've got work to do. And you're not fighting with fists. You're not fighting with clenched teeth. You're not fighting with tension. You're not fighting with anything that you know is acting and willing with your mind. You're fighting in a state of utter silence and non-attachment. And this is where you'll purify your beast. This is where you'll get a good hold on it and pin it down. Not with a spear in your hand. When you realize the mind is moving and not the wind or the leaf. This is the point where your beast is being tamed. So when you find that space, keep doing that. Right. Much love, guys, and thank you for all the birthday wishes. And I'm going to get off and enjoy a lot more relaxing and peaceful day, which is unusual for I, but very welcome. So, God bless.